Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tira Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की श्री श्री गौर निताय की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुः उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So Janmashtami is very fast approaching. I thought I'll speak something in relation to Krishna directly. Is the sound clear to everybody? Or is it echoing? Bit of echo. A little bit of echo. Hare Krishna. All right? Little away. Hare Krishna. Sound is good enough? Okay. Hare Krishna. How does a person develop a deep-rooted faith in the scriptures by attaining spiritual maturity? Is explained in the scriptures itself. One time, one of the student centers, one senior boy told the newly arrived boys that you guys are all dancing very ecstatically. I was also like you, in the beginning days. Now you wait for 2 years, then Krishna will give you a lot of trouble. And then he said, and Krishna will only give after you become little more advanced. Then he'll give you trouble. At that time, let us see how much you will be dancing and singing. He told. All the 4 boys ran away. They left the place and ran away, and the news came to me. So somehow or other, one another very loving and caring senior devotee, convinced these boys to come for Pune Yatra in those days. So I was very happy to see these fellows back. Of course, now they had become a bit changed. They had mustache and little beard and all that they had. They had gone out for 6 months. They came back. the afternoon time, post lunch time, I took them uh, to one of the bushes behind the trees now there. So we sat peacefully there. So then I spoke on one topic to them. The topic was, whoever goes to Krishna always stands to gain. Krishna से संबंध जोड़ो, बाकी सब छोड़ो. That was the topic I spoke on. And I told them that if you have connection with Krishna, how you would stand to gain? I'll tell you several examples. I told them the fruit vendor lady example. She's giving some 20 rupees fruits and getting 2 lakh worth of jewels. Then I told Krishna, look at Sudama. He gave some chipped rice and Krishna gave him house and servants and everything. I told Kubja example. How she was a hunchbacked woman and how she became a very young, beautiful girl. In this way, I said, whomever goes to Krishna only stands to gain. So I gave multiple examples like this. Look at the Pandavas, they were apparently bereft of everything and then they became kings of the whole world. So after I said all these things, they became very convinced, yes, Prabhu, what you're saying is true, but one senior discouraged us. So then they came back after some time. So again, they became devotees. We are all very happy. But you will find, just like, for example, his mother and father, they are supposed to be very loving towards their children in this world. But I have seen my mother catching my hand when my doctor was giving an injection. So I was really shocked. How can my mother be so cruel? I thought that, maybe doctor is outsider. He gave me, I had 4 big bottles of varieties of mithais, He asked me, which one you want? I said, I want all the 4. So I took 2 for each hand. I was about to eat, but then when I was eating those mithai, he was giving injection and mother was catching my hand. So I thought, how can she be so cruel? Later on, I cried out loudly and I tried to escape and I couldn't. They both were, she was catching one hand, he was catching my shoulder. And later on, I asked my mother, why did you allow that fellow to pierce this thing? Of course, she tried to explain to me in my language how it will benefit me. So, here is an example of how if one is grown up, then in devotional service, then Krishna's love may come in different shape for us. Sometimes as some kind of, like Krishna says, Yasaham and Grinami Harisheta Dhanam Shana. It's a very, very ultimate big stroke of mercy it is. Prabhupada says, Krishna took away my business and then he gave me a lot of success in spiritual life. Because he thought, what is my pure devotee doing with pharmaceuticals? He's pouring pipette, burette, taking all these things. He should go to America and preach because the prophecy has to be fulfilled. So Krishna did that. And Prabhupada smiled and laughed when he said this, when Krishna did this to him. He said, so that is a big stroke of mercy, but one step shorter than that, there could be varieties of, unexpected situations may come in the devotees' lives. In English, there is a word called the flow. What is the meaning of flow? If the problems that come in your life are extremely challenging to you, beyond your capacity to handle them, then that leads to fear or phobia or fear. You will get nightmares. You will think that I am going to collapse now. I can't handle it. And if the problems that come in your life are, like buying haath ka khel, you say, no, they are too easy to handle, then you get bored with life. Life is not very thrilling. But there is one break-even point where the challenges and problems which come in your life, they put you to surprise, they put you to wonderment, and you can't figure out. There is some amount of mystery in it, and you are praying to Krishna, praying to Guru, and making an effort to figure out what it is and how to tackle the challenge. And at last, if you successfully tackle the challenge, the kick you get or the joy you get is called flow. Flow is midway between fear and boredom. It's midway. So this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Krishna will, for sincere and serious devotees, Krishna will always keep giving you fresh, new challenges to keep your life enlivening. Just like gopis are all dancing peacefully, blissfully with Krishna, suddenly it disappears. So he disappears from them, and then some people say that Krishna disappeared because gopis became proud that Krishna is only dancing with me. He thought like that. So some people say that Krishna wanted to increase their love for him, accelerate their love for him, so he disappeared. Actually, Krishna says other reasons. He says one reason he says is that you are all individually connecting with me, but I wanted to unite all of you in grief. Because when there is grief, even many family members can become united, because it's a common problem everybody has to tackle. And when there is success and fun, sometimes everybody can become proud also. One of the reasons Krishna says, when I disappeared from all of you, you became united, and in grief which you felt together, you were searching for me. That's one thing he says. Another thing he says, you think I was not there, but I was very much there amongst all of you. You cannot see me. I was invisibly present to see your longing for me. And my devotees' devotional feelings of separation charms my heart. So I wanted to experience that in you. Therefore, I apparently vanished, but I never vanished. I was present, like that he says. So here comes a very important point. In the path of our devotional life, Krishna does not like complacency on one hand and extreme phobia or fear on the other hand. Because, if we become extremely complacent, there is no thrill, there is no fun in life, in spiritual life. So, in fact, even Srimati Radharani, at one point of time, when Krishna took Radharani with him and they both were walking, at that time, the gopis are talking amongst themselves. See, I can see these two pairs of footprints. He has taken Radharani with him. And leaving all of us behind. That one gopi has, of course, Radharani's name is called as one gopi in the 10th canto. And after one point of time, they saw Radharani also weeping and joining them also. Why? That Chakravarti Thakur and other acharyas, they say that Radharani told him that you take me on your shoulder or something like that. And then immediately, there Chakravarti Thakur has written a point that what to speak of us devotees. Even with Radharani or even with the most intimate devotees, gopis, Krishna never want to make that relationship overly familiar. And he never wants any of the devotees to take him for granted, or he says that in that relationship he wants to ensure that there is always some amount of suspense in his relationship with the devotees. And this is why Krishna is called as mystical Lord. Prabhupada writes in one purport, Krishna is mystical to the mystic yogis and he is merciful to the devotees. And Prabhupada explains what this is. Mystic yogis cannot totally understand Krishna because they only see the super soul. Dhyana avastita tad kadena manasa pashyanti jam yogino. They understand super soul to some degree, but they can't understand Bhagavan at all. They only understand Paramatma. But Krishna is merciful to devotees in what? Some of the secrets which he won't reveal to jnanis, karmis, yogis and all, he will reveal to devotees. So that doesn't mean devotee can fully fathom Krishna also. Krishna keeps the mystery even with devotees, and only if he decides to reveal himself fully, then only he will reveal. Like we say, Vedeshu Durlabam, Adurlabam Atma Bhakta. Atma Bhakta are the Premi Bhaktas, the loving devotees. They can understand what many other people in the world cannot understand. We can give innumerable examples for this. You know that Paita, when His Grace Radha Kunda Prabhu was Prabhupada disciple. He came to Cam Temple in those days. You may be probably knowing him. He's very well built and tall. Nikunjame Sri Radha. Like that one song he used to sing. Sham Radhe Radhe, he would take the big kartal. He was a Vrajabasi. He lived in Vrindavan caves also many years. So he's very fond of Vrindavan pastimes. So when he saw Balaji, he offered a big obeisances, and I was thinking he was going to give some critical comment seeing Balaji. He said, Radheshyam, I'm feeling so happy to see this deity. When did this deity arrive here? Then I told him just a few months ago. I told him in those days Balaji was on the side. You know that now. Then in the lecture he was telling, all of you are fortunate because here is Paita Krishna standing. He was telling. You know Paita Krishna? Who is Paita Krishna? In a place called Paita, Krishna was standing with four-armed form. One time after he disappeared from the rasa dance, he was standing in four-armed form just to joke with the gopis. And gopis would be looking at him from a distance, seeing his bluish form, they would come running. And as soon as they would come near, they would see that it is 400 form. They would offer obeisances. You can imagine how much Krishna must have laughed when they offered obeisances to him. And they would get up and say, oh, dear Narayana, can you tell us where Krishna went? In which direction Krishna went? So, and then this 400 form showed the direction in which Krishna went. So they would go ahead like that. And he was fooling everybody like that. So many gopis came one by one. He fooled everybody. But Radharani was the last one to come because she was the one to most frantically search Krishna. So Radharani's eyes, the tears from her eyes were mixed with the kajal. It was flowing down her cheeks and her hair was disheveled. So seeing her pathetic form of separation, he also started weeping. Who? Our 400 form. And then his two hands melted away. And he could not hide himself anymore. So here is an example of how he was merciful to Radharani by revealing his original form to her. While even the other gopis were mystically unable to detect Krishna. Just like we do Ice Boy, we close our eyes and everybody hides in different places. You are supposed to go and find. So covered boys also many times would close Krishna's eyes and they all would hide in different places. And Krishna is supposed to find them. Is it very difficult for him? Is the heart of everybody. How easy it is for him to find. But still he would play such a game. So, of course, he could find the devotee. Sometimes if Krishna would hide, nobody can find him very easily. Unless he decides to reveal himself. So for Radharani, he revealed himself. In the same manner, Prabhupada says, Krishna may reveal himself sometimes to some devotees. For example, Prataprudra is standing with Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhattacharya on the rooftop. And he is seeing the Rathayatra festival. So suddenly Prataprudra saw that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present in 7 circles. Each circle he was dancing. And he told Bhattacharya, how is this miracle that I am seeing? Mahaprabhu is dancing in all the 7 circles. So that time it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Kaviraj Goswami says that, even Gopinath Acharya and Bhattacharya were amazed by the realization that Prataprudra achieved. That Lord Krishna gave him mercifully. Because everybody could not see that. Only few people could see that. He gave the eyes to see that. Another thing he also understood was that famous pastime you all know. How, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing. He went to the side of the chariot. Jagannath was searching. Where is Radharani? I don't find. So he refused to move. Correct now. So then he brought the elephants and, what do you call it? That strong Malla. Malla means Pahalawans. Wrestlers. Dozens of them tried to, pull the rath or push the rath and they couldn't do anything. And then everybody, all of them went to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and fell at his feet and said, my Lord, it's not moving at all. Jagannath is not ready to move. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to halt here? Mahaprabhu smiled and went behind the chariot and he pushed it with his head. One small push he gave, then the whole chariot gave a big jerk and a noise and started moving ahead. And then again Mahaprabhu went ahead and danced. So this was seen by everybody, but most people couldn't decode what it was. They thought that the sannyasi is very powerful. Maybe he has a strong head, he pushed it so the god is moving, isn't it? Because wrestlers couldn't pull it. Elephants couldn't push it. He's a very powerful person. Or some people say that, it is his jadoo, it is magic or something like that. But Prataprudra exactly understood. What did he understand? He understood that Krishna, his greatest joy is to in Vrindavan is Srimati Radharani's devotion is the one which charms Krishna's heart the most, because she is the leader of all the devotees. And if Radharani wanted to check if I am not present, will Krishna come to Vrindavan? So therefore she went to the side. Radharani means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani. Then immediately Jagannath said, no, Vrindavan minus Radharani. No, I don't want to come to such a place. Therefore Jagannath stopped. And Radharani wanted to give assurance to Jagannath that she gave a push to say that, okay, you come, don't worry, I assure you that I will be there. And she gave a push. Then Jagannath agreed to move, making sure that Radharani is still dancing in the front. And this whole thing which I told you now was understood by, and that was a big surprise to all the devotees. How Pratapadra could see this and how he could understand it. That means, therefore I told you, Lord is mystical to the mystic yogis and he is merciful to the devotees. So, this means that Lord will allow a devotee access to some of the subtle truths which only the devotee can access. Others at lower state of consciousness cannot access. For example, there's some famous verse, Mallanam Ashanendranam Naravarastreenam Smaro Murtiman Gopanam Sajano Sadam Shidibujam Shasta Sapitro Shishu Mrityu Bhojapater Virat Avidusham Satyam Param Yoginam Vrishninam Paradevateti Vidito Rangam Gatasagraja. In this verse, Mrityur Bhojapater, it is said. In this, all the 12 rasas are there in this one shloka. If you write down all the names, like Mallanam Ashanir, the wrestlers saw Krishna as a thunderbolt, like that it is said. Mallanam Ashanir, Nrinam Naravara, the men saw him as the best of men. And Srinam Smaramurtiman, the women considered him the supreme Cupid. And then this way, one like that, you write all the 12 rasas will come if you write like that. But one important point for which I quoted this verse, I'll tell you. When Kamsa was looking at Krishna, Krishna didn't look like Krishna for him. He looked exactly like Virat Purusha. Therefore, he says, Mrityu Bhojapater. And there, Vishnu Chakravarti has written that for Kamsa, Krishna appeared like death personified. Mrityu Bhojapater. That means, that is Krishna's material form, he says. Which is a material form? In the Vishwarupa Darshanam, 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna showed two forms. He showed Kala Rupa and Vishwarupa. In the Kala Rupa, he showed, very dangerous looking faces with emanating fire from the mouth. And many people were entering into those mouths like Jayadratha, Duryodhana, Dushasana and all. And the skulls were being, bitten and it was bleeding and the tongue would come out like that it would. So when Arjuna saw that, he was really frightened. When Arjuna saw that, he was trembling. You can imagine if Arjuna is trembling, what about other Kshatriyas? Isn't it? So that's called Kala Rupa. That is the kind of form Krishna showed to whom? Kamsa. That's the kind of, it's called Virat Rupa. That's what he saw. Whereas the Yashoda, Nanda, covered boys, they saw Krishna's Swarupa. Swarupa means is real, Sachidananda Swarupa form, tender form, like his body is bluish, like a soft butter. His beautiful smile, wearing peacock feather, carrying flute, wearing pitambar, and very charming, playful, mischievous, sportive. That is the form that was seen by other devotees, those who are premi bhaktas. Again, here, that means he is revealing this Swarupa form to certain devotees, and he is not revealing it to Kamsa. Correct now? He refuses to reveal it to Kamsa. So, in this way, when he is extremely merciful, then he reveals himself to devotees. Well, another example, you can go to Bhagavad, the 10th canto. You will read two specific words I will tell you in these verses. When he was chased by Kalayavana, Kalayavana is chasing after him. There's one word used there called Parang Mukham. Parang Mukham means Krishna turned his face to the other side. He showed his back to our Kalayavana. So, actually Kalayavana is a Asura, he's kind of Rakshasa kind of person. He went and asked Narada Muni, my hands are all itching for a fight. who is the best person in this world with whom I can fight? So he said, there is a very good person waiting for you. He told him, who is he? Vasudev. His name is Vasudev. And then he asked, how does Vasudev look like? He said, oh, he wears a beautiful mukut, and he has beautiful pitambar, shining pitambar. He has four-handed form. And he has a Shivatsa. Make sure that he has a Shivatsa China, golden hair in his chest. And he wears Kaustuba jewel. And he will have a beautiful smile on his face. And his eyes are like lotus petals. So all that he heard the description, he will have 400 form and all those things. So when Kalayavana saw Krishna from a distance, he actually took a list of everything. Everything was matching. And then he said, Vanamali Atisundaraha, he says. He is wearing Vanamala also, and he is extremely beautiful to look at. Narada Muni, Vasudevohi Ayamiti, like that he says. Hey, this is Vasudev, about whom, he has been talking. Narada Muni has been talking. Narada Proktair is saying. Whatever Narada said has become true. So at that time, he saw Krishna from the side. Even though he saw the side of Krishna, he was still beautiful. But Krishna did not allow him to see even that beauty also. He showed his back completely. That's a parang mukam word is used. And then later on, the same Krishna, you all know, he ran into the cave where who was sleeping? Muchukanda was sleeping. And Krishna went and stood by his side. So Kalayavana came running inside, and he saw this sleeping man with the blanket over him. So, he said that, hey, he is sleeping like a sadhu. Sadhu what? He says. And then he, very great force, he gave a kick to the sleeping man. And then you know what happened? He burned him down. And then Muchukunda looked at the person standing on the side, and he was effulgent. And Krishna's body emanates effulgence. So his effulgence became diminished. At that time, it is mentioned there that Nityam Pramuditam. So Krishna had a smiling face, and Krishna came in the front of Muchukunda and gave his full darshan, facing him face to face. And also he looked at him and he smiled at him, and he stood on a lotus also. In fact, Muchukunda did not know who he is. It's very surprising, no? He is his own Lord, but he had forgotten. And then he asked him, Ko Bhavan, Yihasam Prapto, Girivare, Gihvakandare, like that he's saying, in this forest, who are you, such a beautiful person? I have obtained in this gufa of the mountain. And then he said, your body is so effulgent. Are you Vibhavasu? Are you the sun? And then, are you Somova? He's asking, are you the moon? Or are you Agni? Or are you Lord Vishnu himself? Or is the Supreme Lord? I am a little confused. Who are you? And I think you must be Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said. Because I can see that, my tejas has become diminished by looking at you. See, it's an amazing thing that devotees are given the realization in their heart, even though they ask questions to the Lord. Same thing, Vedavyas had a realization about the reason for his despondency. He himself detected, you all know that? What did he say there? He said, Priya Paramahamsanam Tayeva Hyachita Priya. In that verse he says. He says that, Prayena na nirupita. He's saying that. Maybe, I did not glorify Krishna sufficiently. Therefore, and that which is pleasing to Krishna and devotees, I have not spoken those glories. Therefore, I have despondency. Like that who said? Yeah. And when he told Narada corroborated the same thing later on. The same manner here he's saying, finally he told, maybe you are Supreme Personal Godhead, he said. And the Lord smiled and said, yes. And then, of course, the Lord told him that Pratitam Pracharam Purvam. You have done such severe penances. Pratitam means you prayed intensely to me. For what? To get my darshan. But you couldn't get my darshan in the previous life. So I have come to give you darshan. Like that he said. I have come. So here you can see when the Lord is pleased with the devotee, he wakes up the sleeping devotee and gives darshan. When Lord is displeased with somebody, he is wide awake. Lord is showing parang mukam. He's showing. That means for some people he will hide himself. For some people he will reveal. Mercifully he will reveal. And even amongst devotees also, For different devotees, Krishna will reveal different layers of truth about himself, depending on the devotee. Like he says, Ye tamam prapadyante tam sadaiva bhajamyaham. Either he says that. So, and why he reveals to different levels? Because that is what precisely the devotee needs. Because if a devotee has Aishwarya realization of Krishna, he will not bewilder the devotee with Madhurya realization. He will give him Aishwarya realization so that the devotee is completely satisfied. Like Hanuman is satisfied with Rama and Arjuna is satisfied with Krishna. Correct, no? So now, because Lord knows Hanuman is satisfied in this, I heard of one pastime, one Puranic pastime. Hanuman and Arjuna had a competition, you know that? Once. Where was it? I think it happened in the bank of the ocean, I think. Actually, during the Ajnatavas period, when Arjuna was moving around, when he came to the banks of the ocean, he heard that Lord Rama had arranged the monkeys to construct a Setubandha bridge. So he made a statement that what was the need to make with stones? If I was there, I would have made with my arrows. He said. So at that time, one monkey came, and he said, "Don't you know how the monkeys made this? They made it in such a way that it would never collapse. Hundreds and thousands of monkeys walked over it. But if you make with arrow, it will immediately collapse," he said. But Arjuna said, "What are you talking? You don't know whom are you talking to. I am Sabyasachi." Sabyasachi means he was capable to send arrows like this. He can capable to send arrows like this. Both hands he can use. Like this also, like this also. Ambidextrous, you say, no? And he said, you don't know, probably you have not heard about me. This chakra over the Kandaprastha. I had made a big chakra, so that not even a drop of water can come in. And then Hanuman said, okay, if you can do a Setubandha, make it and show. Then he started sending arrows. Now, as soon as he sent all the arrows, and the monkey said, okay, let us test the sterility, how sturdy the bridge is. Yeah. And then when the Vanara jumped over the bridge, everything collapsed. And Arjuna had said, I will enter fire if I cannot prove my words. He had said like that. But one very important thing that happened, when he was making the bridge, the monkey was chanting the holy names of Ram continuously. So, because of which Hanuman won and Arjuna lost. Because Arjuna was sort of overconfident. Therefore, he lost. And then now Arjuna was thinking, let me enter the fire. Immediately one beautiful Brahmana boy appeared there. He said, wait a minute, Arjun. You guys have never had a mediator between the two. How can you have a bet without a mediator? Then Arjuna said, what should be done? So you cannot enter fire, you have no permission. Now I am the mediator, he said, between both of you. Now let us keep the bet again. Are you ready again? He said, now I am ready again. But now by this time Arjuna had been defeated, so he had become more humble now. Correct now? Yeah. And then Hanuman forgot to chant the names. Now Arjuna was chanting the name continuously and sending arrows. Now when the Vanara jumped in the bridge, he couldn't break it. He couldn't break it at all. So that time, the Brahmana revealed himself as Rama and Krishna. Both forms he revealed. So of course, Hanuman cried out Rama, Rama, and he fell at Rama's feet. And Arjuna cried Krishna, Krishna, and fell at Krishna's feet. And the Lord patted both of them and said, hey, you both are my devotees, don't fight with one another. That's the lesson from the story. Isn't it? So don't fight amongst yourself like this. That's one lesson. Another lesson is, if you become proud and forget to remember the Lord and pray to Lord and chant the holy name, and that pride puts a veil on our face and we become sort of un-Krishna conscious. Or like she says, Maya Javaneka Channam Ajnadokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshase Mudadrisha Natidoreta. She says that, like a dancing, a girl who is dancing in Bharatanatyam, she does Abhinaya, and the Abhinaya should be known to you. Only then you can appreciate. Correct now? Like one girl was acting in two roles, as Narsimha also and Prahalad also. And when she was acting as Prahalad, she would do like this, like this. she would do like this. And then she would go to that side. And then she would become like Narasimha. And then Narasimha would pick up Hiranyakashipu and keep on the lap. And then like that she would do like this. With big eyes she would do that. And one of the old man was watching. She said, till now she was peaceful. Why is she so angry? He was asking. He couldn't understand why this Mataji suddenly has become so angry. When he said that, immediately she again said, Prahalad was like this. For that, what do you need to know? Past time. Then Abhinaya can be appreciated. Otherwise, that's what she's saying. Nato Natidurayata means if you know the past time, then you can appreciate it. Otherwise, not. Similarly, the pure devotees know the pastime of the Lord. Therefore, they will never misunderstand the Lord. They can understand Him properly. For others, Maya Javanika Channam says. So, that means the Lord does not reveal Himself very easily to anybody and everybody. And He reveals gradually. To pure devotees, He reveals practically totally. Like, for example, once outside Gambira, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's house, Advaitacharya Prabhu gathered a lot of Vaishnavas and started chanting Gauranga's name. Gauranga, 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 loudly. So Mahaprabhu became very upset. He said, hey, why are you fellows chanting my name? You should chant Krishna's names. Don't humiliate me like this. Vishnu, like that he was telling. You are praising me as God. So, that time, you will see that, many of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew his position, although he is called as a Channa avatar. Channa means supposed to be hidden. But you will find many times they catch Mahaprabhu at times and prove to him that he is supreme. One occasion is Srivas once was keeping his hand over the sun like this. Mahaprabhu asked Srivas, with your small hand, how can you block the sun? Sun is so big and your hand is so small. What did Srivas say? In the same manner, my Lord, how can you hide your supremacy? Whole world knows it. And you are trying to hide it in front of us. He said. That means Mahaprabhu could not hide his supremacy to Srivas. Same thing when Sanatana Goswami was hearing about various avatars. When Mahaprabhu was telling about Yuga avatar, Mahaprabhu went a little fast. He moved the class very fast. And then he was jumping to Shakti avatar. And he told Sanatana, wait a minute, Lord. You said Yuga avatar is golden in complexion. And he always chants the holy name. He always describes Krishna. And also he wears sandalwood pulp on his body. So many scriptures describe it. Can you please kindly tell me who it is? So what Mahaprabhu said? Hey, Sanatan, don't trick me like this and ask me very difficult to answer questions. He said, now let us proceed with Shakti Avatar. Mahaprabhu brushed it aside and went ahead. But Mahaprabhu knew in his heart very well that Sanatana has detected me. He has detected me. Although common people may not know. Many people in India think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a great saint. But his intimate associates knew him, who he was, because he could reveal to them. So, in this way, let us go back to the original point I started. And now I have come to the second point. I have elaborated too much with many examples. What was the original point I started the class? Anybody remembers? What is the first thing I made? Yes? Correct. You remember very well. Yeah. How you didn't get overwritten? You still remember very well. I written are there. Okay. Amazing. So, whoever goes to Krishna only stands to gain, I said. And this is very good for a very young neophyte devotee to understand like that. Whoever goes to Krishna only gains, he will not have any problem. Generally, people expect that when you say Kaunte Pratijanehi, Ame Bhakta Pranashati, means people expect Krishna should be like a bodyguard standing next to me. Any problem comes, Krishna, Krishna, I say, immediately you should save me. People think like that. Correct? And typical understanding of God is like that. People think. But people never ever ask the question, am I such a surrendered pure devotee, or am I, free from flaws and defects that Krishna has to be right next to me to protect me? Honestly speaking, I would say Krishna should give me a good beating. I feel I have committed so many mistakes. I have, enraged so many great souls. Committed so many stock of sins in this life and previous lives, and we have hurt so many devotees by our speech, by our actions. And many times we have been insensitive to so many people. So how do I expect that Krishna should protect me? Far from expecting Krishna to protect me, But devotees always say that Krishna, I am ready for the punishment. But Krishna will waive off the punishment for the devotee. But devotee will always say that, I did this mistake. I only want one thing from you, that let me never forget you. Like if you see the four Kumaras coming to the door of Vaikuntha, they they looked at Jaya Vijay. And Jaya Vijay, that they crossed, they stopped them from entering. At the time, Kumaras were observing them that, Jaya Vijay had bloodshot eyes. And their bruva kutileya, it is said, their eyebrows were twisted. The nose was stout. So that means what expression they understood? Yeah? Angry. Then they said, oh, this is Bhagavat Pratikulya Shilav, they said. This is Anukulya Shilav means you are very similar to your Swami. You are behaving like your Swami. And Pratikulya Shilav means your behavior shows a nature exactly opposite to the way your Swami behaves. Because your Swami Vishnu, we have always seen him smiling. He has always like a blue lotus, beautifully smiling. And we have never seen him upset the way you got upset. And he never twisted the eyebrows. He never became bloodshot in the eyes. He would never stop me. And he would be very happy to give darshan. He is always called Varadharishabha, Varadaraja. So because you fellows have shown this type of behavior, you go to that world where this type of behavior is exhibited by the conditioned souls. Which world is that? Material one. And you get reformed of these qualities and then you come back here. Like that they said. That's the curse they spelled out. And to their great surprise, these two doorkeepers, you know what they did? Next moment, they immediately fell at their feet and clasped their feet and, showered their feet with tears, genuine tears springing from their eyes. And they said, oh, great Brahmanas, as per your desire, we are ready to go to the material world and be punished. Whatever punishment is due for us, let that be given to us. Let that be so. Like that they said, we are agreeable. But we have one prayer to you, one request to you. Even though we may go to material world, even for one moment, let us not forget the lotus feet of our master, Lord Narayana. Like that they say. Hearing this, our Kumaras felt maybe we have committed a big blunder. We have punished Vaishnavas. These are Vaishnavas, these are not ordinary fellows. But they didn't appear like that. Because, it's very difficult to know a Vaishnava by looking at him externally. My Guru Maharaj was once telling, one Vaishnava is like Kunti Maharani. He said, 3 times he said, soft, tender, hearted Kunti Maharani, mother of the Pandavas. And she is completely submissive to Krishna, sold out to Krishna. Her heart is decorated with Krishna's pastimes always. This is one type of devotee. Another type of devotee, he said, is Vritrasura. But all of you understand, Vritrasura had the same heart what Kunti had. Maharaj was telling like that. Externally, one appears like an asura and one appears like a female devotee of the Lord. Both have similar hearts, tender hearts, that they have Vaishnava feelings in their heart. The one appears like an asura, one appears like a mother. So, in the same manner, these 4 Kumaras thought that we have wrongly judged these 2 Dwarapalakas. Now, what can we do? Should we take back the curse? Or should we say sorry to them? Not only these fellows are saying that they are ready to accept the punishment, they only desire the remembrance of their master. How much they are lovers of their master. And we couldn't understand it. So thinking like this, the Kumara's heart became softened. And they also had tears in their eyes. So here, Srila Vishwanath Thakur has written a very deep commentary. In this commentary, what he says? He says that bhakti is not awarded by Krishna directly to anybody. He awards bhakti through devotees. So only through devotees only others get the devotional service. Now in the case of Kumaras and Jai Vijay, how can we say that Kumaras got the bhakti by smelling that tulasi fragrance, that verse says, Tasya Aravinda Nayanasya Padaravinda Kinjal Kamsha Tulasi Makaranda Vayu, Antargatasva Vivrena Chakaratesham, Sankshopam Akshara Jusham, Apijita Tanvo. That verse says that they smelled the tulasi And then when they smelled it, because of the sanctity of the tulasi, they became devotees. Chakravarti Thakur says, no, that's not the reason, he's saying. Then what is the reason, you may ask? Jai Vijay awarded them bhakti by touching their feet. He's saying, through their feet, they awarded. I was wondering how by touching feet you can award bhakti. He said, by touching the feet of Kumaras and weeping tears and begging for remembrance of Lord Narayana, the two doorkeepers awarded them humility followed by bhakti. Like that he is saying. And this is how, which means they prepared the heart of Kumaras to receive the fragrance of the tulasi leaf, after which they became devotees. Like that he says. So, that means Kumaras, if they directly saw Vishnu, they would not have understood him. But they were prepared in their heart to see the beauty of Vishnu. And that is the time when Vishnu comes. There's a beautiful verse there which says, Krishna prasada sumukam sprihani yadhama prema avaloka kalaya hridi samsprishantam. This verse says that when Vishnu came to the door, he didn't come alone. He came with one more person. Who is that? Lakshmi also. Yeah. And not only with Lakshmi, he came with some of his associates also who were carrying umbrella over the head of the Lord also. And he came with this whole entourage. He came. And both the fellows became afraid. Kumaras as well as, four Kumaras as well as Jai Vijay, they were afraid that by our altercation, the Lord has become disturbed. He has come. But what did the Lord do? The Lord looked first at Kumaras and he smiled at Kumaras. When he smiled at Kumaras, what do you think Kumaras thought? See, if somebody smiles at you, how would you decode it? If you thought that somebody is upset with you and that person smiles at you, then how do you decode it? Yeah? He is not upset with me. He is happy with me. Otherwise, how will you smile? Will you smile with a person on whom you are angry? You are not going to smile. So Kumaras thought, hey, Lord is looking at us and smiling at us. That means he is very happy with us. And then Lord, Jai Vijay became insecure now. Because Lord is smiling at whom? Kumaras. They thought, now we are gone now. Huh? We are going to get some solid chastisement, they thought. Then Lord turned towards Jai Vijay and smiled at them also. Huh? Then they were very happy also, Jai Vijay. Oh, Lord has not given us up. He is still having hopes in us. Therefore, he is smiling at us. And the reason is given in Bhagavatam why he smiled. He smiled at Kumaras. He saw that these fellows have committed a big blunder of cursing my two doorkeepers. Still he smiled because they happen to be guests. See, in our temple also, we give only 2 gulab jamun to brahmacharis whenever there are festivals and all. But if a guest comes and asks for 2 more, we give. Should we give or we say no? Why? Because what is their special qualification? Yes. And therefore Vishnu smiled at them. Thika, you people became angry with my servants. You did a mistake. Still I smile at you because you are guest. That's the reason. And why did he smile at Jai Vijay? That's the reason. He looked at them and immediately felt sympathy. These fellows have served me millions of years. Once in a while they do a small mistake. Why should I fire them? Like that he felt forgiveness towards them. But still these two fellows are naughty fellows. They don't know how to tackle angry people. Angry people can be easily tackled by respect and submissiveness and praises. By giving praises and submissiveness and respect, angry person's anger can be brought down. They don't know, but I will teach them how to do that. So then he behaved with Kumaras in such a way that Jai Vijay were taking notes. They were learning everything. How Lord Vishnu is dealing with Kumaras. So in this way, again the same point. This whole pastime is such a confidential pastime. Lord told Kumaras many things. One of the things the Lord told Kumaras is, "Oh Kumaras, such Brahmanas like you are so dear to my heart. In fact, I take the dust of your feet on my head, due to which Lakshmi is after me always. She doesn't leave my feet. She's always massaging my feet. Because how did my importance increase? Because I am taking dust from your feet," he said. And then he said, "I am not as much pleased if people offer the grains into the sacrificial fire. But I am more pleased if devotees, if people cook nice like basmati rice and molten ghee and then feed it into the mouth of brahmanas like you, that is more pleasing to me, because I eat through your mouth. So you brahmanas are so great. That is more pleasing to me, he said. And then he also said, people praise me, that Ganga is flowing from my feet. I have become holy not because of that. I walk behind the Brahmanas, and whichever place they put their feet, I take the dust from that place and apply on my head and my crown. I apply, because of which my sanctity has increased. Like that, Lord went on speaking, and the Chatushkumaras were like, they were bewildered, and then they were not understanding whether Lord is flattering us, or the Lord is going to chastise us after this, or he is speaking to. Then they told, wait a minute, Lord. The whole world becomes pavan, holy by your touch, not by anybody else. Even Brahmanas are great because they are holding you in their hearts. How do you say that, you are taking our dust? We are very confused and bewildered about what you are saying. We can't understand. And then they said, whatever it is, we have committed a big blunder of offending your dear servants. So please forgive us. Like that they spoke. Chakudiraku writes, Lord was chastising Brahmanas for Kumaras. He was not pleased with them. He praised them like an apparent flattery, to tell them that you are very proud of your Brahmanatva, of your Brahminhood, that you dealt with my servants by cursing them. How dare you did that? Lord told that this is the way Lord told by all these statements. Could you believe it? One more statement he said. You know what he said? When anybody is chastised by a Brahmana, Lord said, chastised by a Brahmana, at that time what the other person should do, he said, that person should, with a smiling face, in like a full moon, with folded palms, you should bow his head and thank the Brahmana. Thank you for your chastisement. Oh great Brahman, by your chastisement, which is arising out of your pure intention to help me and uplift me, I am very pleased with you. You not only can only chastise me, you can even slap me if you wish. Like that, one should deal with Brahmanas, because Brahmanas are well-wishers of the whole society. Like that, the Lord spoke. This is one another thing, apart from the previous ones I told you. But although Lord told all these things, these are true and untrue both. These are true in what sense? If you are a pure Brahmana, Lord adores the true Brahmanas like this only. But the way they acted, they were bitten by the serpent of anger, it is explained. Therefore, they could not go beyond Shantarati. They were stuck in Shant. They could not go to the Asyaras or Sakiras because of this anger, it is said. So Lord was indirectly chastising them. And then he told them that if a servant, misbehaves, he is like a skin disease, in the master's face. If a master, that, what do you call that disease? What do you call that? One skin disease, white comes, leprosy, yeah. So imagine if somebody's lips or face has got leprosy. It's like eyesore. Nobody likes to see. So if a servant is misbehaving, he brings bad name to the master. Such a servant is like this. Jayavijay thought, my Lord, he's talking about us only. Servants, they were thinking like that. And then the Lord told that because my servants have offended you, I being their master, because not only he said, I being their master, he said, I have accepted them as my servants. Therefore, whatever mistakes they commit, I take the ownership of that. So if you wish, I can even lop off my arms and give you, if you want, he said. So the Kumara's heart even further melted. And then he said, and they said, no, Lord, don't say like that. We don't expect that from you. And then the Lord said, what you have done to them, cursed them, is appropriate. If you didn't curse them, I would have cursed them, Lord said, because of their behavior. So you cursed them, that was appropriate. Let them go to material world. But please bless them that they will come back to me. After the term is over, they'll come back to me. Now Kumaras became bewildered. Lord is saying that they committed a mistake. They deserve to be punished. Now why does he say that they should come back to him? Like that, it was very mystical for them. They couldn't understand it. But these two, Jai Vijay understood that when the Lord said, I can even lop off my arms and give. When the Lord said that, that means I understood that who are the two arms? Jai Vijay. Jai Vijay immediately understood. Their heart became flooded with joy. And when the Lord said, please let them go to the Bhuloka and suffer and everything, at last let them come back to me. And they started dancing. They said, that means Lord has not given us up as servants. Let Lord slap us, chastise us, whatever He wants to do, but He has not. So they understood this mystical thing which they couldn't understand. Who couldn't understand? Kumaras, yeah. So therefore I was telling you, in the path of bhakti, we should not expect everything will be, easily evident. Like you teach, children in the school. See, when the child is learning ABC, initially he answers BAT, bat. But when he grows little bit, you understand PUT, put. You say, why put? You say BAT, bat. PUT, can you say put? Can I not say? Let us put. So when you grow up, then you learn also different words. In the same manner, in the bhakti also, as we advance in the path of bhakti, the Lord will also give us different experiences in the path of bhakti yoga as we grow. Some will be pleasant, some will be unpleasant. But we can be assured that whether it is a pleasant experience or unpleasant experience, it is for our ultimate good, for our advancement. And therefore it is said, Lord's lap and Lord's slap are same. He said, Lord, sometimes I give her a lap. Beta, so jao, no problem. Relax on my lap. Another time I give a slap. But both are same. Why it is said both are same? Because the Lord's intention in giving either is only for the welfare of the devotee. Nothing else. Just like, you remember I told the story long before, maybe you know, when a son, one of the days, one father took the son and kept on his lap and said, my dear boy, I have 500 crores worth estate I'm going to give you. And the son said, thank you, Papa. He said, so every day used to give him 5 rupees. But when the father came to know he's smoking, what he did? He stopped there. So after a week, the son became really envious of the father. One day at home, he was staring at the father angrily and said, Papa, you are a cheater. He said, why do you call me a cheater? He asked. You don't even give me 5 rupees, you're going to give me 500 crores. This is a good story you're telling me, he said. The father said, see, if I give you 5 rupees, you will smoke. If you smoke, you will die. If you die, then how can I give you 500 crores? In order to make sure that you will live, therefore I have stopped it, he said. So from this story, what we learn, Krishna may sometimes not give us what we demand him, because what we are demanding may not be good for us. And sometimes, even without your asking, Krishna may provide you. Sometimes, then you can accept it as his mercy. If he thinks it is, if he's giving you, you may be using it well in his service. So therefore, as one grows in devotional life, once Rasraja Prabhu was telling, very beautiful point, he said, if you ask Krishna something, he immediately gives you. Understand that what you got is a very cheap thing, he said. And if you ask Krishna for something, he doesn't give you. He says, wait. That means he is sorting out in his khajana to give you something more better, something special. And sometimes Krishna tells you, wait, and doesn't give you only. That means know for sure that is not good for you. Therefore, he didn't give you. And then he said, materialistic people are fools, he said. And the reason he said is what? They expect that I put this input and this output should come. They think are not like that. Correct? No? If I throw a ball on the wall, ball should come back to me, they think. But devotees are not like that, he said. Why? Because devotees know I am not throwing the ball on the wall. I am throwing it to Krishna who is standing on the other side. Whenever we do any action. So when you throw the ball to somebody, he may also throw it back. Correct? No? Or another time when you throw the ball, he may keep with him also. He may not give back also. Correct or not? So he said, because Krishna is a person, that proves Krishna is a person. He was telling, So therefore, if Krishna is taking and not giving, that means that may be harmful to you. So he is not giving. You may not be able to understand, you may become angry on Krishna, but he said he knows best. Be convinced about it. So therefore, the language of the Bhakti Yoga, as we go higher and higher, may be subtler and subtler. If Kumaras cannot decode what Vishnu is saying, what about us? We are very tiny. And this is only one pastime I told you. If you go to Bhagavatam, different sections, you will see that somebody is understanding one understanding, other fellow is not able to understand. The Prithu Indra pastime. I'll conclude with this one example. Prithu Indra pastime, if you see, You know, Prithu was exalted, and Indra was very mean-minded in that pastime. She stole the horse and everything. Uh, So, and then later on, Lord told Prithu to not perform the 100 sacrifice. You all know that. And ultimately, what happened? You will read in the last chapter. Prithu and Archie, husband wife, both are passing through the skyway, and all the devatas are showering flowers. And they are all going. They both are going to Vaikuntha. They attained Vaikuntha, both of them. And Indra is stuck here. Most people cannot understand that Indra is stuck. They think that Indra won. And some people will even quote the past history. Dekho, Indra was adamant and ultimately got things his way. They will think like that. But Prithu had to give up. Because devotee means they will always tell you give up, give up. Some people think like that. But it's not true. If you very deeply think about this pastime, imagine in a temple, like our Pune temple, say one devotee is Hachodi in one department. I am telling this devotee, Prabhu, from here you go to one part of Pune, say Shastri Nagar or some Nagar. There's already one man giving a land. And that man's brother is ready to build a 10 crore temple. Ready-made and give. And on that area already some devotees are preaching. So I want to make you president in that place. I'll give you 10 more devotees with you. Go to that place, stay there and accept the temple and you run it. And you are a senior devotee, I want to make you president. I say like that. How many of you will accept? Anybody here? Correct or not? And you have to give up this HOD-ship in this department in the temple. It's one of the 50 departments in the temple. So which is bigger? Being a HOD in the temple is bigger, or accepting a temple and running a whole temple is bigger? Which one? Yeah. But one fellow in one temple, I heard, he was not ready to give up that HOD-ship in the temple. He said, Prabhuji, I think you want to drive me out. I cannot give up this. This I have been doing it for last 6 years. I cannot give up. So Indra is like that only. Indra is like the HOD. And Prithu is like the one who went and accepted the temple. You understand the difference between the two? That is much bigger than this. Compared to this one, what is... So being a king of the devatas and being in heaven, is it a very great thing compared to being a pure devotee in the spiritual world? But is Indra able to comprehend it? No. Because his fruitive mentality and material attachment did not give him access to understand the gift that Krishna is giving. Therefore, all of us in our spiritual lives also, we have to get rid of the fruitive mentality, get rid of the offensive mentality, get rid of judging mentality. So the more we become purified, Krishna will give us more and more access to deeper and deeper layers of understanding. And the finest understanding is whatever Vitrasara prays in Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Dasana Daso Bhavitasmi. That's a top class verse it is. Manas Mare Dasupater Gunamste Grini Tavakarma Karotukaya. He said, my dear Lord, I want only one thing. I want to be the servant of your servants. And with my body, I want to render services to you. With my mouth, I want to glorify you. With my mind, I want to think of you. And with my mouth, I want to chant your holy names. Besides this, I don't want anything else. So, if this is the topmost understanding Jiva can come to. And if one has this understanding, even in the Asura body, he can get access to Krishna. And Indra is in a Devata's body, he can't get access. He doesn't have faith even in the weapon that he is using against Vritrasura. And Vritrasura has to give him faith. You can see that. Krishna Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Anybody would like to say or add anything? This mic can come to you. It's a remote. Huh? So I began with that one, which was that, anyone who goes to Krishna always stands to gain. I told the story of the students. I said, after that, what I spoke, Srivachandra Prabhu, after that? I think he said that everybody cannot get. Correct. Flow, I was saying. He doesn't want us to become fearful in spiritual life, nor does he want us to get bored with spiritual life. He wants us to be in a thrilling state, which is called flow. That means he will give us challenges. You all agree? How many of you got some challenge in life, you crossed over it and you felt a thrill? Correct, no? Isn't it? BMS for you, I was like that, correct? Along with the company, see, he didn't give up the company job. Along with the company, you have to take one additional big load, correct, no? It gave him thrill, correct now? Like that. So I told that, and after that, what I said? After that, flow thing, thrill, and then from that I started this point that you know Krishna may reveal sometimes and may not reveal himself, or he may reveal to different degrees. And nobody can confidently say that I have fully understood Krishna. If you have fully understood God, then you are God. Even God cannot understand himself fully, Prabhupada says, because Krishna is ever expanding in his opulences, in his glory and everything. Yeah, he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to understand Krishna's that Madanubhavataha. He says, what is that verse? Radhayaha pranaya mahima kidrisho vanayaiva yenad yenad bhutena madhurima. He says that. Second line says that he wanted to know what is there in Krishna that makes the whole world get attracted to him. That is also one of the points. And then what is Radharani's love? That's the third thing. So we can't fully fathom him. He's unfathomable. Yeah. Okay, anybody would like to say something? Where's the mic? Yeah, yes, Prabhu, please tell
me. Not a like question, but a comment.
Yes.
Like when we have this understanding that only when Krishna reveals, we can understand, we can really become genuinely humble.
Correct.
Because right now, like I may have the understanding, but if Krishna takes away, then again we'll fall on.
Correct.
So if we have, I think very beautifully you described through different pastimes. So it was very beautiful to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And for example, sometimes we think that if I have attained a fine understanding, it's my eternal asset. We think like that. But if we commit offenses, Krishna can cover it up. And immediately the material desires will be gripping into the heart. And one purport Prabhupada writes, if devotee is very offensive, then Krishna plants material desires in the heart of the devotee. And those material desires allure the devotee, and takes him out of the association of devotees. And then when I read it, I was shocked. But then Prabhupada explains the reason why. Out of the two, sins and offenses, which is more serious? So Krishna is saving the devotee from offenses and induces him to commit sins, which is on a material platform. Therefore, he is causing less damage to devotee, especially to offending devotee, judging devotee, offending devotee. So these are all very fine things which are difficult to understand. So somebody may wonder why this devotee got material desires, why he got out of association. But if Krishna does it, it is doing for his benefit. And he was saved from offenses. So what will happen when material frustrations come? Again, he will come back to devotees. He will not leave the devotees. On the other hand, if he was going on committing offenses, he will go on damaging the creeper of devotion, which is extremely dangerous. It may take many, many lifetimes to clear up offenses, because offense is the last thing. Offenses clear at prema stage. Whereas material sins can be cleared even in, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti stages. It can be cleared. So that means Krishna can reveal himself more, or he can cover himself more, depending on our attitude, our behavior. He's watching constantly. So we should not become proud. We should not think I know it all. And also we should not become complacent due to material attachments. If you become complacent to material attachments, spiritual life will become hackneyed, stereotyped, and it will become like a boredom. Last time I remember in marathon time, many of you had wonderful realizations. You had to put book table from your group of devotees. Similarly, when I go to different groups, devotees talk about the services done during Janmashtami, services done during marathon time with PPTs and everything. So when devotees are, it's a duty of all of you, counselors, leaders, to keep your counselees at their foot, at the, with some Prabhupada says that readers should create some fresh challenges to the people under their care, so that will create enthusiasm in spiritual life. Otherwise, they may not read also properly. They may not develop realizations. See, you also will see that in a family, for example, husband, wife, a child comes, then there is a lot of attention the parents put on the child. Growing the child itself is a big project, correct now? In the same manner, husband is starting a new business, then there's another challenge, correct now? In the same manner, you start hosting a program in your house, like Atmaram Garam Prabhu. That's another challenge. Just make sure prasadam is made for all and devotees are taken good care, everything, correct now. So, like one place I had gone for a program. That Prabhuji talking, he came up to the place where the car, I sat in the car, he also sat in the car. After going 5 minutes, I remembered, Prabhuji, a lot of guests have come to my house. I was asking question to you. Then we took a U-turn and went back. We put him in his house. So he said, Prabhuji, the first time I'm hosting, I'm not very much familiar, he said. Because his wife called him. His wife called, hey, where are you? You know? He said, I'm asking questions to Radheshyam. He said, question you ask in another program, not in your house program. You know? So the challenge always makes spiritual life more thrilling, correct now? Otherwise we can tend to become very complacent. Yeah. Yes.
You were talking about the four Kumaras and Jai Vijay. So in this case, is it how we have to understand it's going beyond the right? Because in one sense, Jai Vijay were more exalted as compared to four Kumaras.
Correct.
But still they had to accept the punishment. That is, I mean, they had more access and revelation about the Lord. Still, they accepted the curse or the punishment through the four Kumaras. So, how do we understand that?
Yeah, actually, after this, one more incident transpires after this. And the Kumaras, they went away after that. Now, the Lord was speaking to Jai Vijay. And Jai Vijay asked the Lord that, my dear Lord, how our buddhi became brashta today? That we behaved like that with these brahmanas. We are supposed to behave properly. We are very feeling guilty. Then Vishnu smiled and said, I planted this behavior in you today, so that the Kumaras will curse you. They were shocked, really. So why are you so eager to see us out of this place? You don't want us here. You want to throw us to the Buloka. And the Lord said, you see, I have a desire to, have a fight, stunt. Like Prabhupada gives the example of a king having Malyuddha with a wrestlers like that. But you can become asuras in 3 lifetimes, and I will come and we'll have a good fight. We can enjoy. And after that, you can come back. At that time, Lord gave them choice. Do you want to go as asuras for 3 lifetimes or as devotees for 7 lifetimes? What is the first thought that will come in our mind? Which one? Devotees. Because 7 lifetimes is no problem. Even 70 is also all right. Because you'll get prasad, Mahaprasad you'll get. You'll get devotee association. You'll get yatras. You'll get festivals. Everything. And in devotee sangha, it's almost like spiritual world only. Correct now. That's what they also thought. 7 lifetimes is not a problem. They first told the Lord 7 lifetimes. Lord said, are you sure you want only 7 lifetimes? Then they discussed amongst themselves and they understood that this is not what Lord wants. Lord actually wants to fight with us. Then what they speak in one shloka is really mind-boggling. They are saying, my dear Lord, if you have a desire to fight with us, you can make us antagonistic to you by making us become asuras and make us wage a war against you for your pleasure, and even forgetting your true position as our loving master. You can put us in asura yonis and tormenting the world and fighting against you. If that is what pleases you, then we don't mind 3 lifetimes to become asuras. That means their heart is only to please the Lord in whatever way the Lord wants them. So they understood. Lord was very pleased. And there is another good news for them. 3 lifetimes is shorter than 7 lifetimes. You please the Lord and you come back quickly back to Vaikuntha. And then the Lord told, one time Lakshmi came to the Vaikuntha and you fellows stopped her before. That is coming in Vishnu Purana. Vishnu Purana pastime. In Bhagavatam only one shloka is there. But Vishnu Purana is elaborate pastime. And then the Lord said, Lakshmi was shocked. Hare, you fellows can't even stop me. You are like my sons. You can stop me from meeting my husband. Then they immediately gave way to her. Since she went in. Then at that time Lakshmi had cursed them to go to Buloka also. So then the Lord Vishnu opened his eyes. He saw Lakshmi was on one side and Jai Vijay was on the other side. So Lakshmi asked Vishnu a very challenging question. She asked, my dear Swami, you tell me, are you my Swami or are you their Swami? They both are saying that you are their master. And I am thinking that you are my master. Whose master are you? Vishnu thought it's a very difficult question. Because if I say I am your master, who will be upset? Jai Vijay. If he tells I am Jai Vijay's master, who will be upset? So, if he displeases Lakshmi, she will leave and go to Buloka also. It has happened like Rukmani went to Pandharpur, like that. And if he tells her that I am, I am your Swami, then Jai Vijay will be put off. They will think that all these years you have served, Lord has ditched us, has ignored us. So, what do you think Vishnu said? He just showed a beaming smile, and both the parties forgot the question. In that smile. And they were completely. So now Lord Vishnu reminded them. He told, you remember, you stopped even your mother from coming in. For that you had a curse. But then, as much as I smiled and you forgot the question, I also forgot the punishment Lakshmi gave you. Because, Lord only remembers the good things that He wishes to do. Punishments, sometimes certain leaders are like that. They'll say, you did that, I'll punish you. But then they will forget to punish because of their compassionate nature. Right now. So now the Lord said, that also is one reason. And now I planted this desire in your heart. So you go to Buloka and assist me by becoming an asura, like that is. These are more details. Is the mic team? Yeah. 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 Actually, Prabhupada says also, Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha. Shri word is there. Correct. Correct. Yeah. And also, in the past time, you will see Lord Narasimha went and sat in his throne, in Hiranyakashipu's throne. There, in that purport, Chakravarti Thakur writes that Lord felt that he has made this throne for me to sit. If I sit, he will be pleased. Jai Vijay will be pleased. So he sat. Like that he says. Yes.
Prabhuji, we explained that pastime of Indra and Prithu Maharaj. And also in answer to the comments by Achyut Keshav Prabhu, you mentioned how the material desires are there.
Yes.
And in Indra's case, there is some kind of curtain that he cannot see what is real good.
Correct.
So many times now this question is from both sides. One is we see other devotee having these troubles, that he is not able to see the far-sighted benefit.
Correct.
He is fighting for a lower benefit, some small thing.
Yes.
And because of that, he is committing offenses among the devotees,
Correct.
treating them badly.
You feel sorry.
So how do we correct them? How do we give them suggestions to improve? And second is the question for ourselves. If we are like that, we are not able to see what kind of self-analysis we can do to check our thought process.
These are the places where this Chanakya Niti and all comes to help. Like, the Chanakya Niti and Hitopadesha, they give a lot of good advice in this kind of situations. Like handling immature people. What to speak to them, what not to speak to them. For example, Vasudeva is giving his sisters a lot of gold jewelry and saris and all that he's giving. But he's giving in the presence of his wife. And the wives are also smiling. They have no problem. And the reason, if you ask why, anybody knows the reason? How is it these wives are not envious that our husband is giving to his own sister so many things like saris and ornaments and everything? They are watching it, but they are not envious. Can you say how they are not envious? He gave them more than that. So they had nothing to complain. So therefore, as a husband, he was very mature. He knew that woman's psychology will be what? If you are giving one person, my sister, I am taking care of them well, and wife I am ignoring. And this is the husband's problem. Wife always wants to know, you are with me or with your mother? The mother is asking, better are you with me or with wife? Husband has to tell both of them, I am with you only. To mother you say, I am with you. And to wife you say, I am with you. At the same time, he has to prove to them also how he is with them. Very difficult job nowadays. Of course, wife and mother become devotees, both of them. They both are together. Then husband's mind is peaceful. Otherwise, husband can be like a mridangam, dumataka, both sides. Wife on one side and mother on the other side. So, therefore, Chanakya teaches many things in relation to that. If somebody is an immature devotee, certain things you should not tell them. Although you know it, you should not tell. And this is the reason, for example, see in the initiation committee meeting, 8 of us are sitting. And we say one devotee should not be sent for initiation for these reasons. Will you go and, tell that to the whole community? You won't tell, because many are immature, they can't understand. Correct? No? So amongst the 8 of us, we may talk. And you may talk to the candidate and say, see, you have to improve on this. Then you will be sent for initiation. We don't tell everybody. Because if you tell everybody, then some people have a gossiping nature. They will gossip. They will tell everybody. So we have to be sober. Certain immature people don't tell everything to everyone. Like that is one of the things Chanakya also teaches. And in case we are immature sometimes, we are fighting in a mean-minded way, which is not proper. It's not proper. If we have a mentor or somebody, they will tell us that, see, your fight is meaningless. Like Duryodhana says, even 5 villages I cannot give. Correct now? Ideally, a mentor would tell him, they are asking 5 villages, give it. Rest of the world will be yours. Correct now? Dhritarashtra could have said that, but unfortunately, Dhritarashtra became carried away by his son's mentality. What Dhritarashtra thought, if he can wipe out the Pandavas, then my sons can rule without any thorn. And that was a blunder. He wanted to make the world apandavayam. The word is used in Bhagavatam, apandavayam. He wanted to make the world rid of the Pandavas. And that destructive desire destroyed the whole Kaurava dynasty. So, we will need somebody whom we adore and admire, and from them we take advice. Like I have got many times advice from Maharaj. In certain situations, how I should act. Somebody saying this or doing this, what I should do. He would always give true north. True north means like a compass. The universal principle he will teach. And he will teach it in such a way that principle, if you follow, even I will not be hurt and that person will not be hurt. So he would give a very balanced decision he would give. Because we should think what I'm going to speak and do, how will it affect the community? How will it affect the other person, affect me, affect our circles? Like for example, say X and Y, 2 Prabhujis. X has a good reason to fight with Y. But X knows very well that X's wife and Y's wife are good friends. If X fights with Y, what will happen? They'll go and tell their wife or not. You don't keep any secrets, you will go and tell. Then their wife cannot be good friends. Now they may want to be good friends. But imagine if the Y's wife is coming to X's house, then if X is immature, he will say that, no, why are you making friendship with her? The Y dealt with me like this. He may say like that. If he is immature. Of course, if he is mature, he may say that X and Y, we may have problem, but you can keep friendship, no problem. That requires maturity, correct now? So in order to preserve relationships, sometimes we may forgive the immature behavior of somebody and go on. So therefore, we have this topic called tolerating with wisdom. There are even 7-8 reasons we can give why you should tolerate. One reason I told you just now. Tolerating for what purpose? Preserving relationships. Correct now. Another reason you tolerate sometimes, because you know that if I tell this person something, it's like twisting the tail of a sleeping tiger, we say, no? Because he will create a lot of halla gulla. Some people, that. One thing you tell them, you are wrong in this. In order to prove that they are right, they will take your 1 week. Then you say, okay, you are right. I am wrong, you are right. That's what Rup Sanatan did with that Rup Narayan. Okay, you want Vijay Patrika, take it. Don't disturb us, we are busy writing in our literature. Like that. So, to save ourselves from the headache, we can tolerate sometimes. That is also tolerated with wisdom. Another reason why we tolerate is, Shastras, Bhagavata says that when there are dualities coming in your life, Sukha, Dukkha, Shita, Ushna, Mana, Apamana, if you tolerate, Sa Amritatvaya Kalpate, it says, you will attain. What that was? Yamhyena Vyatyantyate Purusham Purushashvabha Samadukka Sukham Dhiram Sa Amritatvaya Kalpate. You will attain immortality. But if you are going to be bogged by these dualities, he said this, she said that, they don't understand, then you will be fighting against people of the world and you will get stuck here. And you will fail to go back to Godhead. So to go back to Godhead, we tolerate. That's another reason. Another reason why we tolerate is because God is on the tolerating side. Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu, who tolerated? Ambarish and Durvasa, who tolerated? Pandavas, Kauravas, who tolerated? Parikshit and Shringi, who tolerated? You will see like that. Always. You will always see Krishna on the tolerating side. Therefore, we should tolerate. How many reasons have I given you now? 4. Another 4 we can give like this. So, like this is called tolerating with wisdom. So, with wisdom, when you tolerate, it won't be very painful. Only if you tolerate artificially, you will bury pent-up feelings, which will come out in an ugly way later. But if you tolerate with wisdom, you'll be able to be calm, cool, collected. Yeah. For example, a big donor, he's speaking foolishly. You tolerate him because his money has big pocket. He can give. Imagine, for example, he can give 20 lakhs for Janmashtami. Should you prove to him he's a fool, or should you get his money for Krishna? Yeah. Therefore, you tolerate. Correct? No? If you tolerate his foolishness, he may say, like, how many of you experience? You go to some big donor. Instead of he hearing some good sermon from you, he tells all bluff. So many things he will say. You've seen that? And you have to just tolerate him for 10 minutes, he will give you 10 lakhs. And don't tell him that why are you speaking foolishly, we are in parampara, this that you say, then they will say, get out. now I will not give you donation. And then when you give donation, you use it in Krishna service, call him to temple, he take darshan, slowly he will learn. When you give him some proper books, he reads and slowly he will get Sadbuddhi. Correct, no? Yeah. And also, sometimes you tolerate. Why? Because somebody is doing very good work for us. Those days, this, I think Punjab National Bank, I think, it was helping ISKCON, do the whole year's account and balance sheet and everything. There was one Swami, proper disciple. They made some mistake in that, in calculation. He showed and said, why you guys made this nonsense? He used the word nonsense. And the manager got very angry. What? You are calling us nonsense? We are taking the whole year's burden of your temple. We have made one small unit in your campus and we are doing all this work for you. Now, henceforth, we will not do it. You guys are not nonsense, we are nonsense. So you do the work, full year's work. And you only come to us for the last part. Because this was not their work, they were doing still. But because he spoke like this, in intolerance. So the whole thing, then Prabhupada was telling, when he went to Prabhupada said, see, by this one word you used, the whole baggage of load has come on you now. So in order to save ourselves from the baggage of too much of load of work and time and energy, we have to tolerate. There are many reasons for tolerating. Tarorapi Sahishnuna. Because if you tolerate, you can chant holy name. Kirtaniya. Therefore, we should tolerate. How many reasons are over? 8 or over? Yeah. At the same time, we have to, like Narada Muni told the snake, I told you not to bite, but you can hiss, he said. And that also we should know when to hiss, when not to hiss also we should know. Actually, some people it is better to keep totally away also, not come any near, because they are very quarrelsome by nature. They have rumor mongering, gossiping, quarrelsome nature. They are like their head is like a matchstick. For small things they become. So then we cannot come near. Then we can go for enriching relationships, uplifting relationships. And Rajan Prabhu had a point. Yes, Rajan Prabhu.
Uji, considering these two pastimes, Prataprudra and the 4 Kumaras, so Prataprudra could understand certain subtle things which were not understood by the common people.
Yes.
Revealed in his heart. And the 4 Kumaras could not understand some of the subtle things that the Lord was speaking to.
Correct.
Jai and Vijay.
Correct.
So you also said that actually, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jai Vijay actually prepared their hearts for.
Correct.
So the mercy of the Lord is always made available through the devotees.
Yes, correct.
So in Prataprudra Maharaj's case, how did he achieve
that status? There are five, six reasons are there. 5, 6 reasons. One reason is Lord Chaitanya saw him sweeping the floor in front of Jagannath. Tuchcha Seva word is used. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, you put the word Tuchcha Seva, you immediately get. So Mahaprabhu was touched by that. He's a king of Odisha, but he's publicly sweeping like a scavenger without any shyness. He has no, Mithyabhiman. He has no false prestige. That was one thing that touched the heart. Another thing, Prataprudra, gave pension to Ramanand Rai. and told Ramananda Rai that you don't have to do job in Godavari Bank there as a governor of Madras. You leave the job and you come to Puri, and you can have the wonderful association with Mahaprabhu. I am hankering for it. I can't get it, but at least I am facilitating you to get it. So Mahaprabhu saw he is very non-envious. Another occasion, Bhattacharya told Mahaprabhu that the king has become very desperate to meet you. And if you won't give darshan, he is ready to give up his kingly attire and wear the mendicant's attire, become a monk, and also wear ivory ring in his ears as a sign of renunciate. And come and stay with you and become a part of your mata. He will be your associate. If that's what is required for him to have your darshan. So Mahaprabhu noticed that he has that much detachment. He has detachment, he has non-enviousness, he has a tendency to do menial service to Lord, his humility. He saw that. And Mahaprabhu also saw that Nityananda Prabhu, Sarvabhattacharya, they all praised Ramananda Rai, they all praised profusely Prataparudra. And Nityananda was the one who suggested Mahaprabhu to give cloth, one piece of cloth. So Mahaprabhu gave his mercy in installments, multiple installments. First he said, I can't, I can't see him, but I can see his son, he said. So the son came and met. So when he embraced his son was darkish in color and glistening eyes with curly locks of hair. Mahaprabhu felt the sentiment of seeing Krishna. So embraced the boy, and boy became ardent in love of God. Then when he went and embraced his father, then Pratapadra got that experience from son. Another time Mahaprabhu gave a piece of cloth, which Pratapadra worshipped, keeping in the altar very, very much. So there are multiple things Mahaprabhu came to know about Pratapadra's devotion. And finally, the Tavakatamritam he sang in the Jagannath Vallabha gardens. There Mahaprabhu manifested so much mercy on him. So, because the Krishna's mercy comes in the heart of the devotee, and then it gradually reveals ununderstandable things to the devotee through his eyes, because he gets the Shastra Chakshu, he gets Prema Chakshu. So, then when the devotee is able to detect things which are not commonly visible to others. Therefore, this comes by sincerity of the devotee. This comes from the blessings of great Vaishnavas and good wishes of great Vaishnavas also. Pratapadra is having so much good wish for him. Ramandra is having good wishes for him. Correct? Now, he won the heart of so many. Mahaprabhu himself was touched by his good qualities. So all these things put together, purified and elevated him to a point where very rare things could be revealed to him. Yeah. That way, even governor of Madras for Ramandra is no less also. No? See, if you are a governor, you are a politician, you are a Shudra, and you are in a Grihastha order, you have so many responsibilities and everything. But what realization Ramananda Rai had, isn't it? Mahaprabhu could ask him questions about Radha Krishna Tattva and he could explain. He was fully sense controlled, and he was exactly living in the mood of a Vishaka Saki, like that. Therefore, Mahaprabhu wants to show that somebody may be a Muslim and he can become Namacharya. Somebody may be a governor of Madras and in a family order, and he may be born Shudra, but he can have Jai Krishna Tattva Veta, Sai Guru Hai. Viprakya Banyasi Shudra Kenanai, he says. He can be a Shudra, he can be Sannyasi, whoever he be. That means anybody can draw the glance of the Lord and the empowerment from the Lord to get realizations which are very deep by one's own sincerity and by attracting the blessings of other Vaishnavas, both ways. Yeah. There are two words used in Bhagavatam, Purushakara and Daiva. Purushakara means what you achieve by your endeavor, and Daiva means empowerment. So Daiva is like 1,000 count. Purushakara, if it is 1 count. So by our endeavor, we can only do a little bit. But when Daiva comes, that is very, very powerful. Because then that empowerment is so great. Yeah. Like for example, if the Lord is pleased with the devotee, the pleasing is that thing. If you please the Guru, if you please the Krishna, if you please the Vaishnavas, that pleasing aspect brings such mercy tremendously. Like for example, one boy was working in a company, and he earned such a good name in the company. So the boss one day called him to his room. He was just a GET, and the boss talked to him half an hour. Tell me about you, Do you go to ISKCON? What all they teach you? How you are so nice, And then at the end of the talk, half an hour, 45 minutes, was a very, very busy man. Still he talked to the boy. Then he told him that, can you get some more boys who wear, kantimala like you? Can you get 5 more people for our department? So that means this boy has pleased the boss in such a way that other 5 boys are getting without any difficulty, getting jobs. So if you please the boss, so many things can happen. Similarly, our bosses, Guru, Krishna, Vaishnavas. So from that, their pleasure comes a lot of, different forms of mercy comes. Yeah. Pratap is a very special soul. Very, very special soul. Extraordinary. We should sometimes have exclusively one talk on the installments of mercy that Pratapadra got, which we read in Charitamrita. Very interesting section. It's really heart touching. If you read what Pratapadra speaks to Vaishnavas, it will really churn our hearts. Such a good soul he is. Yeah. Pure devotee. Now it is 8:45. You all have to take prasad and take rest also. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Option of 3 lives versus 7 lives. Kashipu Hiranyaksh. Next life came in next yuga. And then another yuga.
Correct.
So apparently looks like they wanted to have reduced time. But they actually had to spend like 3 yugas. So maybe is there some commentary or acharyas speaking?
And 3 yugas they appeared. Lord, actually one thing is these are all determined by the Lord. When they should go, when they should appear in that particular form. And it's not that one after another quickly I can finish off and go back to Vaikuntha. We are at his, we like for example, say I own a car. I put a driver for the car. So I go to some office or some bank or some place. Should the driver wait for me as long as I want to spend time there? Or should the driver say, hey, it's getting late, come quickly? Because I have appointed him in job. He is my driver. Right? Similarly, if I sit in the rear end of the car and he is putting on a song, should it be a song which I want to hear or he wants to hear? According to what I like. Or if I don't want to hear any music, I tell him, stop it. He says, no, I like it. He says, can you hear that? Can't do that. So servant means we are here, we exist for the master's pleasure. Master says, come in one yuga, you take one form. Then that's what they should do. If he says, okay, quickly finish and come, then whatever he wants, it's called as Tat Sukhi Sukhitvam. We derive pleasure in his pleasure. Our pleasure comes from his pleasure. Same with Guru disciple also. If Guru is, what Guru wants me to do, I will do. Like Bhasanath Thakur once told one of his disciples to get buttermilk, at 9 o'clock. That disciple didn't have dahi. He went here and there and got dahi. By the time he brought it was like 10:30. And then he had taken prasad. It was supposed to be taken before prasad. Then he said, okay, no, I don't want. Now, he said. Then he told the disciple at noon time, Gayatri time, he told him, please get me hot milk. So he brought the charge now. Buttermilk, he said. No, Guru Maharaj, this charge is very chill now. Very nice. I made it now. Please take it. It will be very good. He said, hey, I didn't ask you this. What I want? Hot milk. Because hot milk is required for the medicine. And then he told them, you should give me what? Who wants? You want or what I want? What I want. Now I want hot milk. But the disciple wanted to give him reverse. Because morning hot milk will be good and noon time buttermilk will be good. According to whose estimation? Disciple's estimation. But Guru wanted it opposite because there was a medicine associated with it. The same manner, when we are serving anybody, I am in a serving role. I should serve them the way they want me to serve. That is the meaning of we existing as an instrument in their hands. Correct? No? Sometimes the harmonium when we play, nice sounds emanate from that harmonium when we play. But sometimes a rod, it has come out or something. That keeps on making sound. That's irritating to everybody. Correct? You have seen that? You understand what I am saying? Then you tell the harmonium, hey, you play as per my requirement. You don't keep making your own sound. So the servant should not make a sound that disturbs the master. Rather, the servant should serve like a well-oiled machine properly. So this is one of the very big themes of, if you remind me next time, I'll speak only on this. This is a very big theme and very, very vital theme in Vaishnava life. If you understand this one thing, most of our problems will be solved. And I'll tell you multiple examples for this on, from extremes, whimsical behavior to completely surrendered behavior, and all shades in between. Next time we can probably discuss, I think. Shri Prabhupada ki. 2 minutes you can do a short kirtan. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannath Swami Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannath Swami Jaya Jagannath. Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavana Dham. Krishna Balaram Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan. Shri Govinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna जय श्री श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र की, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री श्री गौर निताय की, श्रीनिवास वेंकटेश्वर बालाजी की, समावेत भक्त वृंद की, कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. Thank you very much.